Look around you. Do you see anyone buying that truck? Because I don't. Right now, in the middle of 2026, pickup truck inventory across America has hit its highest level in 7 years. We're talking 110-day supply on the Ram 1500 alone. In some rural dealerships, trucks have been baking in the sun for over 200 days, and still, nobody is touching them. And these aren't cheap trucks. These are $80,000, $88,000, $92,000 machines. So what is actually happening? Why is the country that practically invented the pickup truck suddenly walking away from it en masse? The answer is not simple, but it is brutal. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly who is responsible and what you should never do with your money right now. Let's get into it. Let me take you back to 2018. You walk into a Ford dealership. You spec out an F-150 with a V8 engine, a decent trim level. The sticker price? Around $48,000. Now, walk into that same dealership in 2026. That same class of truck, same bed, same basic purpose, now costs $68,000. That is a $20,000 increase in 8 years. Not because the truck became $20,000 better, but because the automakers decided you would pay it. These are not sports cars. These are not luxury sedans with hand-stitched interiors built by craftsmen in Stuttgart. These are pickup trucks, working machines, tools, and Detroit turned them into status symbols and priced them like a starter home in the Midwest. And here is where the manipulation gets criminal. To justify those prices, the automakers buried the truck in distractions: giant touchscreens, heated steering wheels, panoramic sunroofs, massaging seats. While you were drooling over the gadgets, they quietly gutted the engine. The thick, legendary cast-iron Vi-8 blocks, the ones that lasted 300,000 miles and could be rebuilt in a garage, gone. Replaced with thin-walled aluminum turbo engines designed primarily to pass government fuel tests on a dynamometer, not to survive 15 years of real work. You are now paying $20,000 more for a truck that is mechanically weaker than what your father drove off the lot in 1998. That is not progress. That is a con. But the price tag is just the beginning of the trap. Here is what actually happens when you sign on the dotted line for one of these trucks. Think about that number. Over $1,000 every single month to keep a pickup truck, and the banks, working hand in hand with the automakers, have a trick to make that pill slightly easier to swallow. They stretch the loan out to 72 months. Some even push 84 months, 6 to 7 years of payments, at interest rates sitting around 7%. Do the math. On an $80,000 truck with a 7% rate over 84 months, you are paying close to $110,000 total by the time that loan is retired. And while you're doing that, your truck is hemorrhaging value. Within 12 months of driving that truck off the lot, approximately 30% of its value has already evaporated. That is $24,000 gone before the first oil change reminder hits your dashboard. By year 3, that $80,000 truck is worth maybe $40,000 on a good day in the used market, but you still owe the bank $60,000. That gap, that $20,000 hole between what your truck is worth and what you owe, is called negative equity, and once you are in it, there is no clean way out. You cannot sell it without writing a check to make up the difference. You cannot trade it in without rolling that debt into an even bigger loan on an even newer truck. You are not a truck owner. You are a hostage, and the bank is holding the title. The first people to figure this out were the people who actually needed these trucks: electricians, plumbers, farmers, small contractors, the people who built this country with their hands and used pickup trucks as income-generating tools, not lifestyle accessories. These people looked at $80,000 price tags and $1,080 monthly payments and did the math faster than any Wall Street analyst. A truck that costs more than $1,000 a month does not make financial sense when it is a business expense. Not when you can find a 2005 Ford F-250 diesel with 180,000 miles on it for $22,000 cash. And that is exactly what the working class did. They walked into the used market, bought older iron, paid cash, and told Detroit to keep its heated steering wheel and its 84-month loan. So Detroit panicked and made its worst mistake. They abandoned the working customer entirely and chased the wealthy suburban buyer. The person who buys an $88,000 Ram Limited, not to tow a trailer, but to feel powerful on the highway between their office and their Home Depot run. And it worked, for a while. But then 2025 and 2026 arrived. Inflation crushed household budgets, interest rates refused to drop, and the affluent suburban buyer, who was never that serious about trucks in the first place, suddenly looked at their $1,100 monthly payment on a vehicle they couldn't even park downtown and quietly canceled the order. Now the lots are full, and Detroit is standing there holding the bag. But here is the part that should make you genuinely angry. If you were paying $80,000 for a truck with a world-class engine underneath the hood, this would be a very different conversation. You are not. What is sitting under those shiny hoods is some of the most fragile, failure-prone engineering in modern automotive history, and the automakers know it. Ford, the EcoBoost. 3.5-liter cam phaser disaster. Ford's 3.5-liter twin-turbo EcoBoost engine was sold to you as a revolution. V8 power with V6 fuel economy, the future of the truck engine, the reality. The cam phaser locking pins inside this engine were manufactured from materials too weak to handle real-world operating conditions. The moment your oil gets slightly dirty, or oil pressure dips for even a second, those pins start rattling. The timing chain begins to stretch. If you ignore that rattle, and a lot of people do because they think it will go away, those pistons will eventually slam directly into the valves and destroy the cylinder head. Ford has known about this problem for years. They have issued multiple technical service bulletins, but no full recall, because a full recall would cost billions. So instead, they wait, and you pay. GM, the lifter and rod. Bearing catastrophe. General Motors went a different direction with their 6.2-liter V8, a cylinder deactivation system called Dynamic Fuel Management, designed to shut down cylinders during light driving to save fuel. Sounds clever. The execution was not. The hydraulic lifters responsible for that deactivation have a chronic failure problem. Oil sludge, weak internal springs. The lifters stick. The camshaft keeps rotating. The push rods bend. The camshaft lobes grind down. And then it gets worse. Their solution? Thicker oil. And a waiting list for replacement parts on a truck you paid $79,000 for. Stellantis. Killing the Hemi for the Hurricane. Stellantis committed what can only be described as automotive sacrilege. They killed the Hemi Fiv 8, one of the most beloved and reliable American truck engines ever built, and replaced it with a twin-turbo inline-six called the Hurricane. 6 cylinders. Pushing a truck that weighs over 2 tons. To do that, they had to crank the turbo boost pressure to 26 pounds per square inch. An extreme level for any production engine, and to handle that pressure without adding weight, they used an ultra-thin plasma-sprayed cylinder coating instead of traditional iron liners. In 2025 and 2026, the real-world results have been catastrophic. That boost pressure, combined with extreme temperature cycling, began cracking head gaskets. Coolant poured into the oil system. Engines destroyed themselves from the inside. Many owners also reported electronic control module failures that shut the truck down completely in the middle of highway traffic. You are not a customer. You are an unpaid test engineer. Toyota, the fallen giant. And before anyone says, just buy a Toyota, I have to warn you, even that fortress is cracked. The new Tundra abandoned its legendary naturally aspirated 5.7-liter V8 for a twin-turbo V6. And in early 2024, Toyota was forced into an emergency recall of over 100,000 Tundras from the 2022 and 2023 model years. The cause, metal debris from the casting process, was left inside the engine blocks during manufacturing. As those engines ran, those particles broke loose, traveled through the oil passages, and starved the crankshaft bearings of lubrication. Crankshafts overheated, engines seized at highway speed. The reputation Toyota spent 40 years building in America is now officially under threat. And when you look at all 4 of these manufacturers, Ford, GM, Stellantis, Toyota, one pattern is impossible to ignore. The industry replaced mechanical engineers with cost accountants. They are no longer building machines designed to outlast a mortgage. They are building machines designed to outlast a warranty, and not a day longer. Now you might be asking yourself, why haven't I heard any of this from the automotive press? Simple answer, because the automotive press is on the manufacturer's payroll. Not literally, but effectively. Automotive magazines and YouTube channels depend on manufacturer relationships for early press vehicles, paid advertisements, and sponsored access. The moment a publication starts telling readers the truth about cam phaser failures or rod bearing collapses, that manufacturer pulls the relationship. The ad revenue disappears. The press cars stop showing up, so they stay quiet. They call the EcoBoost spirited. They describe the Hurricane as revolutionary. And they send the truck back after a 500-mile press drive before any of the real problems have a chance to show up. What you are watching right now is not sponsored. Nobody handed me a press vehicle to protect. So what do you actually do with this information? First, do not walk into a dealership right now. With inventory at 7-year highs, floor plan costs are crushing dealers every single month. That $80,000 truck sitting on the lot today will almost certainly hit $65,000 before next spring, as dealers panic discount to survive. If you rush in today, you are personally absorbing the dealer's losses. Second, buy the way real working people buy. Go to the used market. Look for trucks from the late 1990s through the mid-2000s, naturally aspirated V8 engines, cast iron blocks, cable-operated throttle systems, simple electrical architecture with physical relays instead of software-controlled modules. That truck can be maintained with basic tools in a driveway. It will not strand you on a highway because a software module overheated. It will not present you with a $5,000 repair bill for a cam phaser that was defective from the factory. Pay cash, own it outright. Put the $1,080 you would have given the bank every month into a savings account. Use it to maintain the truck properly. You will come out thousands of dollars ahead every single year. Buy the tool, not the trap. The pickup truck market did not crash because Americans stopped needing trucks. It crashed because the people who build trucks decided that profit mattered more than the people who buy them. They priced out the working man. They installed fragile engines behind luxury trim. They partnered with banks to turn a working tool into a 7-year debt sentence, and now the lots are full, and the bill is coming due. If this opened your eyes to something the mainstream automotive media will not tell you, hit subscribe. Every week, I cut through the corporate noise and give you the unfiltered truth about what is actually happening in the automotive industry. And leave a comment below. Which modern engine do you no longer trust? I read every single one. I will see you in the next video.